This morning, Jesus Christ says, I want you to come to a place in your life where you will say to me, as your God, I want your rule, your absolute rule over my life to come. I want you, Matthew 7:21, I want you to know I want to do your will. Matthew 7:23, I want to no longer practice lawlessness. You know what? I still sin, but I am not a characterized by sin person. I'm still a sinner, but sin no longer has dominion over my life because I'm saved. And I hope that if nothing else at Camp Barakel this weekend, that you will think of this terrible petition. And after last night, think about who's talking to us, the infinite, eternal one on that throne. He's saying, I want you to say to me that, God, I want your absolute rule over me to come in my life. Did you know God is really into memorial stones? Do you remember when every time something big happens in the Old Testament, like every time God appeared to Abraham, what does Abraham do? Builds an altar. Genesis is filled with little stories about Abraham building an altar here, and Abraham built an altar there, and Abraham built an altar there. And it passes on to his sons. Jacob is building little altars. And by the time their descendants multiply, they are supposed to set up altars when they get in the Promised Land, and they set up memorial stones when they cross over the Jordan River so that they can tell their children's children what God did. Did you know God is into memorial stones? You know what a great memorial stone is? To say, Lord, at Memorial Day family camp, Lord, I'm going to start trying, as Paul reminded us at the beginning of the service, I'm going to start trying to get up in the morning, and the very first thought I have is about you're still up there on the throne, and are all hundreds of millions of those angels are all around you, worshiping you, and that's where I'm headed. And so, God, I want you to control me. I want your absolute kingdom in my life. And I want to be increasingly, did you know people that know you should see that there is a growth toward God in your life and away from sin? People should see that there's an increasing level of the fruit of the Spirit in your life. Did you know, Jeremy was showing us a sweet little baby. Did you know if that sweet little baby, Simeon, did not grow, the doctors would call it failure to thrive. And they would start doing very aggressive medicine. If you have a 6-month-old baby that's this big or this big, however big they are, I've had 8, I can't remember. How big are they at 6 months? Let's just say they're this big. If at 18 months they're still that big, we go, If at 24 months we go, oh. If at 5 years they're this big, what do you think? Something's seriously wrong. Did you know if all of us could, at Disney and other places, you get those funny glasses so that you can see 3D? If we had funny glasses this morning and we could look at all the believers in this room and see them sitting in their chairs according to how spiritually mature we are, how much we're into God controlling us and living by His Word every day and doing His will and seeking His cleansing and asking everybody, telling them we're wrong and we're sorry, please forgive us, and all that stuff. Did you know if we put on these glasses and could see everybody spiritually, there would be people in this room that have bodies as big as mine, and their little feet don't touch the floor because they're babies. They're sitting in those chairs in big bodies, but spiritually, they're not even walking on their own. In fact, they need a bottle. Hebrews 5 says that. When for the time that you should be eating meat, you are drinking what? Yeah. So camp might be a time where you say, Lord, I want to, Matthew 7. In fact, if you've not marked in your Bible, you could circle 21, I want to do your will. Verse 23, I don't want to practice lawlessness. Chapter 6, verse 33, I want to seek first your control in my life every day. And if you really want to be radical and make a big memorial stone, you could back up to Matthew chapter 4 and verse 4, and it says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word. You could even say, Lord, I want to have daily bread from you. In fact, Lord, I'm going to do something radical. I'm going to ask you to help me to read my Bible before I check my email. Before every time. You know, people sleep with these things, and they make a little sound when they get a tweet. Oh, they wake up in the middle of the night. They got to check their tweet. I have other people that they update their Facebook every 90 seconds. And they read everybody else's. And they never, ever hear the voice of God. So you know what would be a great thing to say at camp? Lord, I want to do your will. Matthew 7:21. Lord, I want you to control me. Matthew 6:33. Or if you really want to be radical, say, Lord, I want to have daily bread from you. That's what camp is about. It's not for kids alone. It's for big people. And that's the prayer that changes me into a life that pleases God.